on in. So glad to have you here. I am personally really excited to be chatting with you guys today. We're going to have a really great conversation. I'm going to tell you all about who I am and what we're doing here today, what we're going to talk about today. But for right now, come on in, get a comfortable seat. You know, I don't know about you guys. I miss welcoming people to live events. So when I'm doing stuff on Zoom, I treat it like I'm in a room with real people. Invite people in, get something comfortable to sit on, grab a beverage, grab something to write with, get comfortable. Come on in, everyone. My name is Chris Linsell. I am so excited to be working with Keller Williams, Santa Clara Valley today to do a little bit of real estate business level ups. You know, the real estate business is one where there really is no destination. It is all one big journey. We're all on a path towards the next, whether that is the next level of production or the next level of free time for you and the people that you care about, or the next market that you want to serve. We're all working towards something, and I love that about real estate. And I am somebody who helps real estate agents figure out how to take those next steps. I am so fortunate to have been in conversation with Olivia and the other folks at Keller Williams Santa Clara Valley to talk today about how I can help you guys level up some of your business. And today we are going to be talking about buying real estate leads. But before we jump into that, just want to make sure everybody knows there is a chat function on Zoom and it works. So if you have questions about things, or if you want to interject or make a comment, please drop it in the chat. Let's make this conversational. Let's get some back and forth going. Love hearing from folks. Okay, so I'm going to just do a quick screen share and just give you guys just a little bit of background on who I am and why you should care about what I have to say. We're going to talk today about smart ways to buy real estate leads. I'm going to talk about the idea of buying leads in a second, but first, this is me. I'm Chris Linsell. I'm a senior real estate writer. I'm a real estate coach, a technologist, which is really a fancy way of saying I spend a lot of time goofing around on my iPhone. And I'm also a consultant in the business field in general, but in real estate specifically. If you don't know what the close is, first of all, so glad that you're on the call. I want to tell you about the close. The close is arguably, in my opinion, arguably the best website on the internet for real estate strategy, advice, and action. I've got it open here on a tab. This is the close. You can visit us, www.theclose.com. It's totally free. Come check out what we've got here. We write long form content designed to give you the strategy, reviews, and advice that you need to take your business to the next level. Same sort of thing we're going to talk about today. Like today, here, right at the front page, I did a review of the Playster real estate website builder platform. Did an article for our Agent Basics section about what GCI is and why it should matter to everyone. That sort of thing. It's all totally free. We have categories up here. Come take a look at the close. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so this is who I am. I am Chris Linsell. Why should you pay attention to what I have to say? Well, I've been in the real estate industry for over 10 years as a fully licensed full-time agent. I'm from Michigan, northern Michigan, and I have been a solo agent. I've been a team member. I've been a team lead. I've been a digital strategist for an entire brokerage. I've got a lot of experience in different orbits of the marketing, transaction, and customer spheres of the real estate industry. And I've been around. I know a lot of what works, and I certainly know a lot of what doesn't work. And I love sharing that insight and information with people. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, we're going to talk about leads and lead generation. But before we do that, quick, did you know, and I want to throw this to the chat for a second. Do you guys know that since 2015, the number of internet real estate leads has grown by 100%. We are capturing 6 times as many leads as we were in 2015. That is insane. That is so crazy when you think about the way that lead generation has evolved over the last 5 or 6 years, especially given the circumstances surrounding COVID. We are capturing 6x real estate leads. And if you aren't capturing 6x real estate leads over the last 6 years of your business, you're behind the curve, right? So just want to start by just throwing it in the chat here. Go ahead and let me know in the chat, how is your real estate lead generation plan going for you right now? Are you getting the number of leads you want? Are you wishing you had more? Are you getting leads, but they're not the right kind of leads? Tell me, just give me a couple of words, give me a little bit of feedback there. I'd love to hear how people are doing with their lead generation to kind of kick us off here. I know everyone's typing right now, and that's okay. And if you know what, if you don't have a keyboard in front of you, or maybe you're listening on your phone, feel free to unmute. Let's let you, don't hesitate to let me know on mic too. It says, Donna, my business is coming from your sphere of influence, from the people that you're already connected to. I getcha. Gurjeet, struggling to check where to start as a new agent. That's definitely a it's definitely a challenge when you're a new agent. Where do my leads come from? How do I get this engine rolling? I'm seeing some private messages about lead generation being a challenge, and a challenge using specific services too. Want to expand and get more leads. Each time I try, the leads are not good. Okay, we're going to talk about that. And budget is a problem too. You know, guys, a lot of folks, I hope that this is something that makes you feel good and something that makes you feel motivated. A lot of folks are struggling with these exact same things. Okay, there are quite a few challenges when it comes to real estate lead generation that has many agents kind of shaking their head, wondering if they're moving in the right direction. And so I'm going to provide for you guys today a couple of options for augmenting your lead generation plan. Okay, so to get you up to this 6x number. Now, before we get into these options, just want to make one thing completely clear. Well, I guess two things completely clear. The first thing is, today we're talking about paid lead generation, and there are a ton of non-paid organic lead generation strategies out there. And you can visit me on the close. I have at length created content around these organic lead gen strategies, and would love for you to go check those out. Paid is an exchange of our resources for leads in a positive ROI kind of way. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and how paid can be a part of your lead gen strategy. I also want you guys to know I have no affiliate deals and no personal deals to push any particular companies. Any recommendations I've got for products here, I don't get a piece of any kind of sale there. So there's no bias in my opinion. These are just companies that I've either worked with or done case studies on and have seen success with. Okay, so just so everybody is clear on those things. So let's jump in here and take a look at a couple of things to get started. Today, we're going to talk about 5 paid lead generation approaches. Now, it's important to know that you can take these approaches. They can apply across multiple companies. I'm going to make some recommendations on where you can utilize these strategies or these approaches, but we're going to talk about 5 different approaches. We're going to talk about some recommendations for service providers, and we're going to talk about some of the must-do strategies to make it ROI positive. Because remember, you're paying for this stuff. If you're not getting at least your money back and then some, you're just giving money away, and we don't want that, right? So, and then of course, we're going to answer some questions. Okay, and remember, I got my chat open. You guys got questions? Drop them in the chat. I'm paying attention there. Would love to be able to interact a little bit with you. Okay, so strategy number 1. Okay, we're going to get right into it. This is the ad agency approach. All right, I call this the ad agency approach, and here's what it is. The ad agency approach is when you hire a company to run ads on your behalf. Well, of course, skip way ahead here. Run ads on your behalf. Traffic from these ads is funneled to landing pages that then convert into leads. All right, so this is not rocket science, right? This is pretty basic marketing. You can use this approach. You can use this approach for marketing just about anything. We're using it for real estate. We find our audience, we run an ad for them, for targeted at that audience. That audience goes to our landing page or wherever we're sending them, and then a percentage of them convert into a lead, right? So this is the ad agency approach, pretty standard. Here are some folks who use the ad agency approach. Bold Leads and Real Geeks. These are 2 lead generation companies that use this ad agency approach. They create specialized ads on your behalf. You don't have to monkey with doing Facebook or Google ads. They do all that stuff for you. They direct leads to landing pages, either their landing pages, if you want to use theirs. They've got landing pages like homevalues.com, or a place where people can sign up for a customized list of homes that's connected to your MLS. Or you can use your own landing pages. If you've got landing pages on your website that you want to direct people to, they'll come there. A percentage of them will convert into prospects or to leads, and then you nurture them. Then you connect with them, and then a percentage of those will convert into clients. So these are a couple of examples of people who do this. There's some pros and cons here, though. Okay, pros, very hands off, right? You work with these companies, they do this for you. You get a relatively high volume of leads. They make their money by getting your message in front of as many people as possible. So you're going to get a lot of leads coming in, and these are often exclusive leads. You're not sharing these leads with other realtors unless these leads are clicking on ads from multiple people, which does happen occasionally, but more often than not, these are exclusive leads. The cons, though, drawbacks, this can get pricey, right? Because you're going to pay Bold Leads or Real Geeks. I think their monthly fee for both of these is about $250, and then you have to do the ad spend as well. So you're often paying upwards of $500 or $600 a month, and you never know where these leads are going to be as far as their process towards a transaction. They might be really high funnel and require a ton of nurturing. They might be ready to pull the trigger on something tomorrow. They might be low funnel. So a little bit of lack of dependability on their funnel depth. But if you're going to be successful here, there's a few things you can do. Make sure you use a CRM. I know Keller Williams, you guys have a native CRM, but there's a ton of real estate CRMs out there. I've got a buyer's guide on the close for the best real estate CRMs, as well as the best free CRMs out there if you want to get a free option. So use a CRM so you can manage your leads. You know who's been talked to, who's waiting on a conversation, who's a hot lead, who's a cold lead. Make sure you get to them quickly. People click on internet ads and they expect a response as quickly as possible. So don't let them linger. And then make sure that you've got a long-term nurture strategy in place. The one thing that we'll see over the last 6 years, internet leads we have 6x more of them, but they take twice, sometimes 3 times as long to nurture, which means we're getting these leads sooner in their process. But real estate agents who aren't patient and don't have a long-term nurture strategy in place to get these leads to a point where they're ready to become an active client, these folks are missing out. Okay. And of course, this is a must do for everything, is be patient. You can't measure your paid lead generation, especially in the ad agency. You can't measure these results day to day, at least not in the beginning. You've got to measure your results over the long run, because that's when the graph starts going up and to the right. So like I like to say to folks, don't measure your success based on the crops you're harvesting, measure it based on the seeds you're planting in the early stages. Okay, so that's the ad agency. Some free CRMs. Absolutely. I'm going to write that down so I make sure that I can come back to that for you. I've got a whole article about free CRMs that I'll jump into in a minute here. So strategy number 2, this is the prospecting approach. And for those of you guys who are short on budget but long on time, this is really classic for real estate agents who are relatively new to the business. You got time, but you don't have as many resources. This is a fantastic strategy. Prospecting approach is when you hire a company to supply you with the contact information for likely buyers and sellers, and then you solicit the conversations with them that will turn into leads and to eventually into clients. So, you know, we think about prospecting. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I know for me, I have always thought about prospecting as this is more outbound salesmanship and saleswomanship. Okay, this is more outbound. We're out there making the phone ring for somebody else. We're not waiting for our phone to ring. We're picking up our phone and making it ring for somebody else. Okay, this is what prospecting is all about. It's about being active here. Okay. A great tool for prospecting is RedX. If you haven't heard of RedX, you should definitely check it out. I've got a review, a dedicated review just for RedX on the close. And guys, I'm going to send you some links to all of the different articles that I'm talking about here, so you can go and read this stuff on your own. But RedX is a company, they specialize in just providing you consumer data. Okay, you can pay just for FSBO leads. You can pay just for the contact information of recently expired listings. You can use their geo leads function and get all the contact information for people in a specific neighborhood. They've got a little polygon tool. You can draw a polygon around where you want the information from. It's fantastic. I will be the first to say, I early on got into RedX in my real estate career. You know, started working the phone, started working the direct mail. I knew that we're going to require more touches with people, so I got in early, and this was a good tool. I've used this one myself. Some pros and cons here. Pros, you guys are in charge of your own success. Okay, you decide how much you want to work on prospecting. It's also relatively inexpensive. You can start using RedX, I mean, for $40 a month or less. I think there's one category of leads. If you are working a lot of rent and leases, that's like $30 a month. Compare that to the $600 a month from the ad agency. I mean, RedX is a bargain. All right, you get to control how much you do daily. If you want to work the phones for 45 minutes or for 5 hours, this is up to you. All right. Drawbacks here, though, this does require cold outreach. All right. If you are not comfortable picking up the phone and initiating a conversation, or knocking a door, or sending kind of a speculative text message to follow up on a mailer that you created, this is going to be a challenging strategy for you. Okay. It's also pretty time consuming. You know, you gotta dedicate the time. Where with a strategy like the ad agency approach, you can do other things and wait for your phone to ring. Here, you got to be working. Okay. So if you want to do this, there's a few must-dos. All right, you got to set aside time every day to work it. You got to be consistent. Use some scripts and templates. You can find a ton of scripts and templates on the close. Lots of good stuff there. And then consider using, if you want to be successful here, consider using this with an overall farming strategy. And if you're not familiar with real estate farming, it's the idea of picking a specific geographic area and really focusing on it, establishing yourself as the real estate expert there. Prospecting within a farm area is a really solid strategy. Okay. I'll be honest with you, I love prospecting. I love the prospecting approach for lead gen. It's inexpensive. I like being in control of my own success. This is a strategy that I love to use, and I've been on teams that has absolutely blown it out of the water using this strategy. Okay. Strategy number 3, the display ad approach. Okay, now the next slide here is almost certainly going to get some eye rolls here. So I can't see your cameras, guys, but I'm just going to see if I can feel it. Okay. Oh no, it's the slide after this. Sorry. But prepare those eyes. The display ad approach, placing ads where your likely consumers are spending their time. All right. Offering something of value to them in exchange for their lead information. Now, the purest display ad play in the real estate game is Zillow. All right. Everyone's mic is muted right now. I think I still heard somebody groan, which is fine. That's totally good with me. I mean, here's the facts, guys. Zillow, before we get to the pros and cons, Zillow has tens of millions of people that visit it every single month. Okay. It is the most trafficked real estate website on the internet. The traffic there has at least desire to consider a transaction, if not actively pursuing a transaction. All right. So like them or hate them, and there's plenty of reasons to be on both sides of that fence. This is where our consumers are spending their time. And so putting your face and your contact info next to the listings that they're considering and offering them something of value, meaning, I want to know more about this house. Who can I ask about this? Oh, here's somebody. Here's Donna. Here's Gurjeet. Here's Virginia. This is an example of how display ads work. Now, there's pros and cons here. All right. Pros, like I said, you're in front of active, likely buyers and sellers, mostly buyers in the case of Zillow, but some sellers too. And it's relatively set it and forget it. All right. You can set up Zillow Premier Agent, and it doesn't require a ton of day-to-day maintenance. Also, there's often a sliding price scale here. There are going to be some markets super competitive, really expensive, but I know that there are realtors who I've coached, done specific Zillow consulting, where we have found markets that are just a little bit off access from where they typically are working, that are underserved, and they're able to get into Zillow literally for like $30 a month. Not always typical, and I'm sure that the California markets are a little bit different than they are here in Michigan, but Zillow can be affordable. The cons here is these leads aren't exclusive. Somebody could click on multiple requests for information. You do have to work with Zillow, which a lot of agents get frustrated by because Zillow is quickly becoming our competitor right now. And there's no guarantee for lead quality. You know, like I said, there's a ton of people who are on Zillow and are at least thinking about a transaction, but I think about playing Major League Baseball, and it doesn't mean I ever will. So there will certainly be your fair share of leads that aren't actually serious, at least in the short or medium term. Okay. But if you want to be successful here, here's a couple of tips. First of all, trick out your Zillow profile. I've done some long-term studies on Zillow Premier Agent effectiveness, and it is a common thread amongst effective agents is very consistently those with the most complete profile, meaning you have filled out every field, you have been thoughtful about the way that you talk about yourself, you have been thoughtful about soliciting reviews, you have all of your sales tracked there. Your Zillow profile completeness matters. Now, I can't say for sure whether or not it matters from a Zillow end, but from a consumer perspective, it definitely does. And I have a feeling that if you're using the Zillow agent search function, as Zillow Premier agents can, I think that you will appear more often. My theory is that the algorithm there is tailored more towards agents who have better profiles. So spend some time on your profile. Secondly, turn off Zillow's Connect feature. If you use Zillow, you have the option of using their Connect, Zillow Connect, where you get directly connected on the phone to buyers and sellers. Zillow kind of acts as your admin and preps your clients before they actually get you on the phone. That sounds great, but you end up missing a whole bunch of leads because that connect function is still not perfect. All right. If I'm working with Zillow, I want all of my leads. Let me decide if this person is qualified or unqualified. Okay. And then finally, don't throw away your misclicks. All right. You know how I was saying earlier, there's going to be some people who are always wanting to play Major League Baseball. Well, guess what? A handful of those people are going to eventually do something in professional baseball. Market to them. It costs you nothing to keep them in your CRM, to get them on your email newsletter, to send them a Christmas card. Maybe it costs you a stamp and a card to send them a Christmas card. But market to these people. The bigger your sphere of influence is, the more likely you are to capture these leads. So don't throw away these misclicks. Don't get mad at Zillow for sending you these. Market to them. Okay. So display ads. All right. So we've covered a couple of different strategies here, a few different strategies, but we're not done. Okay. I've got 2 strategies left, and then I want to talk about how we can use these approaches to be ROI positive. Okay. Strategy number 4 is one I'm personally very bullish on. Okay. This is the future of things. Now, predictive analytics is an exciting field that is now finding its way into real estate marketing. And here's how it works. It using sophisticated algorithms, predictive analytics companies will create lists of homeowners in your market that are likely to sell in the next 12 to 18 months. Now, I'm just going to pause here and just acknowledge that this does feel kind of big brotherish to some people. Okay. That is, totally get that. I understand where people are coming from on that, but let me tell you why you shouldn't worry about that. Okay. We have more consumer data floating around out there or for sale out there than we ever have before. Okay. Like, we use our credit cards for more than we ever have before. We use our social media accounts as logins for more things than we ever have before. We have cookies on our browser, maybe not so much for too much longer on the cookies part as privacy laws are changing, but we have browser activity recorded in a way that we never have before. Data is making us smarter, okay? And there are real estate marketing companies that are harnessing this predictive analytics to give you a better shot at making your marketing more effective. And let me just share with you exactly why. Okay, I'm going to get off my pedestal for a second, or climb down off the soapbox. I'm really passionate about this, guys, because as a real estate technologist, I'm constantly hunting for the next big thing. This is definitely it, in my opinion. I have been asked to present at the National Association of Realtors annual conference. It's in San Diego this year, and I'm really excited about that. My topic there is going to be 5 bold predictions from the desk of a real estate technologist. And guess what one of them is going to be about? It's going to be about predictive analytics. So if you're coming to NAR this year, come on down to San Diego. Come to my session. I'd love to chat with you guys afterwards. So who's using this? Okay, so there's a couple of companies out there that are using it. House Canary is one of them. SmartZip is one of them. For my money, Offers, OFFRS, is probably the best as far as what I've seen as far as their track record goes and their user interface. Okay. Pros and cons here. Okay. So pros, first of all, you're focusing your marketing efforts on your best prospects. Okay. Higher overall conversion rates come from predictive analytics because you're only marketing to people who you've identified as being likely candidates for listing their home for sale. Okay. Offers claims that their algorithm will predict up to 80% of the homes that will be listed for sale in the next 18 months. Now that's crazy to me. At this point, we don't have the data to say one way or the other whether or not that's true, but it's trending in that direction. And the fact that somebody could stand here right now, beginning of August 2021, and say by the end of March 2023, I can tell you 8 of every 10 homes that's going to be sold. That's bonkers. I mean, that is quite a claim. And if that's true, it's going to give real estate agents who are using this a major advantage. The other challenge, though, the cons here, is that predictive analytics require a lot of work. All right, you've got to sift through this data. You've got to identify. They position the data so you know who is likely for sale, but it means that you can't just create a every door direct mail campaign to a neighborhood. It's a few clicks and highlight an area. That's it. You've now got to do manual mailing lists. Okay, you've got to hunt for individual, create individual campaigns down to the street. That's going to require a little bit more work. If you can certainly pay for that to be done for you, offers will be more than happy to pay for that, or to offer you services for that. But the base price for offers depends on the neighborhood, is somewhere in the neighborhood, if I'm remembering correctly, somewhere in the neighborhood of $200 to $500 a month, depending on the region that you're working in, and how big your market is. So if you're going to add premium services on top of that, it can get kind of pricey. Okay. Also, you have to remember, these are folks who have just said, the offers has identified as likely to sell in the next 18 months. That means you could be nurturing leads for upwards of 2 years. All right. It's a long time for a lead to convert. And 2 years from now, you'll just be canoeing down a river of gravy. But until then, somebody's got to pay the mortgage and keep the lights on. So you have to have the stomach and the wallet for those long tail conversions for predictive analytics. Okay, you're going to have some easy wins. I'm not trying to dog them here. You are going to have the occasional easy win here, but generally speaking, these leads have a long tail. Okay, if you want to be successful, here's what you got to do: be patient. Remember, like I just said, you're talking to leads who aren't usually activated yet. Know your market. What I mean by this is, if you send out marketing to a homeowner who offers has identified as likely to sell, if you say, hey, it's a great time to sell, if you're thinking about it, I'm your agent, very regularly they're going to say, it's a great time to sell. Why? Because, if the predictive analytics are correct, this person is cued to your conversation. You got to be ready to defend your position. Okay, so you got to be prepared if you're going to use predictive analytics. And then lastly, you got to have the absolute best listing presentation in the office. Okay, the overwhelming majority of people work with the first agent that they find, but that's when they are in active search mode. Okay, when they're not in active search mode and they don't have a specific motivation to list by a certain day and a certain time, they can afford to be a little bit more picky about who they're choosing. So you have to have a really sharp listing presentation. And then strategy number 5, do it yourself. Now, this might not seem like a strategy, but take a listen. Take the best parts of each strategy. Okay, run lead gen ads like we saw with Bold Leads or with Real Geeks. Okay, put some ads on social media directing people towards your landing pages on your website. You guys can do that sort of ad agency work. Okay, and you don't have to pay somebody $300 a month to do it for you. You can, if that's what you want, but you don't have to, right? You can do it for $20 a week by running ads to the right people at the right time. All right, you can run display ads like you do on Zillow. You have to pay Zillow if you want them there, but I bet you there is some sort of local news website where people spend, go to, it's like the go-to for your particular community on what I want for local news. These folks offer display ads, okay? They're not going to convert at the same level that a Zillow ad will, because you've got a really wide audience, but there are display ad options out there specific to your market. Take a look, okay? You might be able to get in much cheaper than what Zillow offers, okay? You can do prospecting yourself. You can use your county tax records. You can look for names attached to addresses. There is a tool called White Pages Premium. It's like, I think it's $4.99 or $9.99 a month, where it's like the old White Pages. It's like the old phone books we all used to have, in that one drawer. Everybody has that one drawer in their kitchen where the phone book used to be, okay? It's like that, except it's on the internet. You can type in somebody's name, you can get you'll get possible contact information. It's not always good, it's some of it is wrong numbers, some of it's been changed or disconnected, but you can do the sort of prospecting that RedX offers you for a fraction of the cost if you're willing to put the work in. And then lastly, you can do your own predictions. You can be a predictive analytics person, okay? A great way to think about this, predictive analytics for beginners, I like to call it. If you want to get into predictive analytics, start looking at turnover rates in particular neighborhoods. If you're not familiar with turnover rates, this is basically, you're looking at what percentage of the homes sell in a particular area every year. If a particular neighborhood has a 2% turnover rate, maybe it's got 200 homes in it, then on average, 4 homes every year are going to sell out of that particular neighborhood. Right? So if you know that on average 4 homes are going to sell, you can start looking at like, okay, well, what's the typical amount of time that someone stays in this neighborhood? Maybe this is like a starter home neighborhood, or where a lot of first-time home buyers go. And maybe the average time here is only 5 years, 6 years. So you can go to the records of sale and be like, okay, well, typically 4 homes sell a year here. These are the homes that have been here, or these are the homeowners who have been here the longest. Maybe these are the most likely people to sell. It's not perfect. You don't have all the consumer data that Target or that Macy's or that Facebook has about people, but you can do your own predictive analytics at no cost. All it costs you is time. So there are tons of ways that you can create some value using paid lead generation strategies without actually paying for them. So before we jump into one other thing I want to chat about, and before I get back to Gurjit's question about some free CRMs, just want to talk about cost here just for a second, okay? Because budget is something that agents regularly chat with me about, okay? So budget, if you're going to do ad agency marketing effectively, this is like Real Geeks, this is Bold Leads, you're going to want to budget for yourself $500 a month as a minimum, okay? Sounds like a lot of money. It is a lot of money. I'm not gonna lie. That's a healthy chunk of change. But remember, if the typical transaction in your area, I'm not sure. Will somebody type in the chat for me what the a median sale price is for your market? Anybody who can think of it off the top of their head or has that data nearby. $500 a month sounds like a lot of money, but you think about a $1.5 million conversion. If you're going to pull, let's just say, I'm going to go really conservative here and say you've got somehow like a discount listing, and you only got 1.5%. I totally typed that wrong here. 1,500,000 times 1.5%. You're still pulling $22,500 for 1.5%. Okay, $500 a month versus a $22,500 conversion, a significant return on your investment. Okay, if you're looking at $500 a month, $6,000 a year, you are 3.5xing your money with a single conversion, right? But you have to think about it in the long view, right? Because these aren't going to convert every single time, and you're going to have way more no's than you're going to have yeses, but you don't need that many yeses to make this a really ROI positive strategy. So if you're going to be doing ad agency lead gen, you're going to have to budget a minimum of $500 a month. People who are really in the sweet spot are more like $750, $800, $1,000 a month. Okay. If you want to do display ads, or excuse me, prospecting. If you want to do prospecting, RedX is a great example of this. You can get in, you can use the RedX strategy, the prospecting strategy, just getting that contact information. You can do this really well for $150 a month using RedX. You can get a ton of leads and lead data from RedX for $150 a month. Okay. You can use just your phone to prospect these people. And do it just for the cost of your phone bill. If you want to add in, direct mail costs, there's going to be a little bit of extra cost there. But guys, you can get in using the prospecting strategy for less than $300 a month, all in, and have a ton of upside. Okay. Display ads. If you want to work with Zillow, every market is a little bit different with Zillow, but for my money, the break-even point for markets, California, really anywhere west of Colorado, break-even point for most realtors is about $1,000 a month. Okay, that is going to be where the ROI really starts turning positive. Every market is different, so I don't want to give you a specifics on that, but generally speaking, western half of the U.S., except for the great, extreme northern plains, those are going to be, you need to spend $1,000 a month if you want to make 3x your money. Okay. And then lastly, if you want to do the sort of predictive analytics that offers gives available to you, budget $500 a month, budget $600 a month. This is what you're going to need here in order to make this an ROI positive strategy. So before we open things up to questions, and before I just start, I want to just get a conversation going around lead gen. I just want to also throw out here the most powerful thing you can do to generate real estate leads is to not put all of your eggs in one basket. Okay, just like the stock market, you want to diversify your approach so that when one of your methods is really popping off and you're getting all sorts of great leads and you're getting clients from it and converting closings, and one of these methods maybe isn't doing as hot, that on average your boat can, the tide continues to drive your boat higher. The last thing we want here, maybe not quite the last thing, but something we're not all in love with, is this. I don't know if anybody has experienced this. I bet you some of you guys have, is this feast or famine strategy of real estate. That's a hard way to live. It's a hard way to do your job when you're just absolutely crushing it one month and then it's crickets the next month. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for a consistent closing, number of closings every single month that gets you to the goals that you've set here. You don't want to have them all in one month or have no idea when they're going to be coming. You want to be generating consistency across your business, right? So I like to tell folks, use paid lead generation as a component of your overall strategy, and consider going with 2 different paid lead gen strategies that you can invest in and measure the effectiveness against one another. The most popular approach on this is to do some sort of inbound, like the ad agency approach with bold leads, or with Real Geeks, or display ads with Zillow. Do some sort of inbound and pair it with some sort of outbound, right? Pair it with either RedX or offers. Choose one from each category, and then you can start to measure the effectiveness of each lead. Where am I getting better leads from? Where are the leads converting? Which leads do I feel like have a better chance of becoming clients? do this for long enough, you can say, okay, well, this one worked, this one didn't work so well for me. I'm going to drop this one next year, and I'm going to pick up this one the following year. This is a way that you can continue to kind of rotate the players in your game to set you up with the best lineup possible. And as always, paid lead generation should not be the only way that you get leads. You should be working your sphere of influence. You should be developing organic leads via the communities that you're building through your social networks, through your email list, through your CRM or leads that or referrals that you've gotten. These are all different, kind of planets in the solar system that orbits your real estate business. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. Make sure that you're diversifying across multiple lead sources. Okay. Each of the strategies we talked about today relies on the value of your time over your money. Okay. These are the things you need. You need time, or you need money, or you need both. Okay. You can do each of these, with exception of Zillow, on your own. Leads still have a cost, right? Running Facebook ads still costs money, but you won't be paying somebody else to do it for you if you choose to do it yourself. So that's the other component. Take one of these approaches, and rather than paying one of the companies, do it yourself. So these are all some resources that I'll send this to Olivia to pass along to folks. I've written reviews for Bold Leads, for Real Geeks, for Redx, for Zillow, for Offers. I've got a dedicated review for each of these platforms over on the Close. So you can go to the Close, you can check out. I've done a long form deep dive there. We get into features, you get screenshots, you get to see really the fundamentals of what we're working with for each of those. Also, I've got some articles on the Close helpful to our conversation here. We've got a buyer's guide for real estate CRMs. Now, this is a buyer's guide for more premium products, Gurjeet. So there's definitely a cost here, but I will also include, in fact, let's just go right now. Let's go to the Close. CRM. See how easy this is to navigate, you guys. Oh, look, it's the very first one that comes up. The 7 best free real estate CRMs. All right, I'm going to include this link as well. Of this list here, I think my favorite is probably Insightly. They have a really solid and efficient CRM. It's really easy to navigate. You don't have to be a tech wizard to do it. This is a great one to go with. Exact Contact is actually a product I would consider a premium product, but they offer, I think it's like 3 months free. At least they did. I'd have to double check on this. They offer a lot of time, or did offer a lot of time free, so you can try this product, try this out for, I don't remember the exact time frame now, but definitely worth checking out. Real Office 360 is another interesting one, just to kind of call that out there. This was kind of a late addition to this list. I actually am pretty bullish on Real Office 360. They offer a lot of cool stuff too. So we're going to pass along this. I've also got on here an article about creating a custom lead generation plan. Okay, you can create your own lead generation plan, so you really map out all of the different components, whether it's social, whether it's email, whether it's blogging, whether it's paid, whether it's sphere of influence. It goes on and on and on. You've got we'll give you a template to be able to map this out for yourself. And I did talk about real estate farming here. Just want to throw this out here too. Okay, we've got a real estate farming guide. It really walks you top to bottom of how to set up a real estate farming strategy. Definitely a long form strategy guide. So, this sounds like absolutely thrilling, I'm sure, but grab your phone, sit down with a nice hot meal and read all about real estate farming, because it's like a 20-minute read probably, but you're going to get to the end of it and you'll be like, wow, why am I not doing this? This is going to be really effective. So these are all resources. I'm going to include links to Olivia so she can pass these along to everybody. A ton of cool stuff here. Questions? Okay, We're in the questions area. Fantastic. Okay. So I just want to open this up to questions, guys. What questions do you have? And these can be questions about any of the tools I talked about, any of the strategies I talked about. It could be about real estate lead generation in general. If you've got questions about non-paid lead generation, how can I help make or answer your lead generation questions and make things easier or more exciting for you? Feel free to drop in the chat. Feel free to just turn your mic on and let me know. Love to hear from you. What's your opinion, insights about Keller Williams Command? Okay, that's a great question. So I have a few notes on this because I figured you might ask me about Command. Okay, so full disclosure, I've never worked within the Keller Williams organization. So my only insight to this is on the outside looking in. Keller Williams hasn't given me full access, like insider access of Keller Williams Command. So this is from the outside looking in. Two things I'll say. The first is any tool that a brokerage has developed itself for its agents, I am skeptical of, except for Keller Williams. And I say that I'm not just saying that because I'm talking to Keller Williams agents. Keller Williams has a pretty significant track record for success when it comes to the tools they provide for their agents. I like the way that Command kind of approaches the real estate business. You have, a really solid team infrastructure there. It gives you a lot of automation options. So I like any tools that save time. But as far as lead generation specifically, I guess I don't have enough data to say one way or the other whether it's an effective enough tool to be on the list. Has anybody had great success using Command? I'd love to hear. Oh, and Rick, I'm sorry, you also mentioned as a CRM. I haven't worked directly seen their CRM products, so I don't have any specific opinions on that. But I can tell you, just in general, a good real estate CRM has to meet three criteria for me. The first is I have to spend less time using a CRM than I would not using the CRM. So it's got to have great automation. I want to send less email. CRMs have to send email for me. If it can automate text messages, I don't want to spend time doing that every day. If I have a CRM that'll do that for me, that has to be it. So it's got to save me time. A CRM also has to save me money, meaning, yes, I'm going to pay for it, but if I'm using the CRM, it means I can be out showing people property and closing sales. So it's an ROI positive thing for me. And then the third thing is I have to be able to measure my own success on it. It's got to have some sort of analytics that demonstrate for me, yes, this is working. Oh, here's where I should change. Okay, because if you're not measuring, you're not growing. Okay, Rosemary asks, have I worked with Yelp? Yeah, I have worked with Yelp. I'm going to just be totally honest with you. My Yelp results were negative. We did not make money on Yelp, and I think part of it is, and full disclosure, this was like, when was this? This was almost 36 months ago at this point. The way that Yelp's advertising works is somewhat unpredictable. That was our big problem, is we could not predict week to week or month to month what our lead flow was going to be. We couldn't allocate resources properly for it. It just overall, we just barely missed breaking even by it, but that means we didn't break even because we spent a whole heck of a lot of time on it. So Yelp certainly could have changed since then. My experiences with Yelp is not a place that I'm going to invest money again. But this is definitely the sort of thing you should try for yourself. If you've had success, or if you have people in your market that have had success, it's worth investigating for sure. Okay, Kiko asks, do you have 5 favorite CRM integrations? Kiko, can you clarify that for me? When you mean integrations, tell me a little bit more about what you're asking about there. You can do it on chat or I don't know if you're, yeah, okay, you can
Yeah,
unmute.
I'm thinking like I'm new to real estate and
Yeah.
finding the right CRM. So I'm looking into ones that have like Zapier integration seems like very important, MailChimp, Twilio. What else are like key integrations?
Yeah. Oh, great question. Okay, I totally get it now. So Zapier is like kind of the first and the last one on this list. I guess there are a couple of others in there. Zapier, if you guys aren't familiar with Zapier, it is literally the duct tape that holds the internet together. Zapier just really quickly, they take products and platforms that don't typically work together and allow them to connect with each other. So, as an example, I have Zapier integrations for a CRM. I help consult and manage a team out of the Buffalo, New York area. Their CRM that they use is called Property Base, and we have a Zapier integration between Property Base and Zillow, so that when a new Zillow lead comes in, it's automatically populated into the Property Base CRM, and Property Base starts them on both an email and an automated SMS text drip, so that before an agent actually talks to one of the people there, this person has received 2 pieces of communication, and it is really authentic, and it saves a ton of time here. So Zapier is absolute must. The other thing I would say, just generally from a real estate perspective, you're going to want to have either through Zapier or directly an integration with Zillow, because we spend so much time with Zillow. The other one that I would mention too is if you're using a transaction management platform. I know Command has some transaction management functions, but if you're using other transaction management platforms, make sure that they can talk with your CRM as well, because you're going to want the transaction management stuff to be reflected in your CRM's lead profiles. That way you don't have to go back and manually change information every time. So Zapier for sure. That transaction management, like if I've got a lead that, or a client that closes on a sale, and I'm it closes out on the transaction management platform, I want my CRM to automatically be like, okay, this is a closed sale. Now I'm going to start this person on the the anniversary email drip and the Christmas card list and the the reminder to check in with them every 6 months and see how their home ownership journey is going, that sort of thing. That's once your business starts building in volume, having that sort of automation there is going to save you a ton of time and allow you to continue to scale. Okay, so Kiko, thanks for the compliment. What a nice thing to say. Rick, how does one follow you? Latest articles, tech reviews. You're great. Oh, wow, Rick. First of all, the best thing you can do is continue to pay me compliments, because I can't buy hats like this with just money. It takes compliments to fuel all of the conversation we're having. Great question. You can follow me in a couple of different ways. We'll take a look. I'm just going to throw this back up here so you guys can see it, and then we'll keep talking. You can follow me on Twitter. I argue with people on Twitter every day, at LinSellChris. Most of my arguments are around, full disclosure, around real estate, but around more controversial topics like, will cryptocurrency become a mainstay, and will the decentralization of blockchain become something that affects the real estate market? Who knows? I've got opinions. Come share yours. You can also follow me on LinkedIn at Chris-Linsell. Really easy to find. Somebody just followed me on Twitter. God bless you. So these are places. You can also go to my website. It's chrislinsell.com. I don't do a ton of daily posting there. You will see some feeds from my other social stuff. But if you want to talk about like consulting or coaching or goal setting, or if you want an accountability person, I do that for agents there too. So feel free to connect with me there. I'll have this stuff for Olivia, so you guys don't have to worry about scrambling on this right now. But that's where I'm often active. I'm very active also on the close. Obviously, I'm a full-time senior writer and coach at the close. That's honestly I have a lot of different pieces of bread being buttered, but that's really the one where I spend the most time is writing content with the close. So you can go to the close, you can subscribe to our newsletter there. We send out stuff 3 times a week, and you'll get absolute nuggets like of pure strategy, like the real estate farming guide. But you'll also get lighthearted things like we've got a really active YouTube channel. And I've got a YouTube video about the 5 most nefarious real estate scams out there. So you'll get like a mix of fun and useful and exciting stuff. Okay, so Julie, great stuff. So glad to help you, Julie. Rosemary, how do you stop your reach out from going into lead spam? So Rosemary, just so I am clear on this, are you asking how do you keep yourself from ending up in somebody else's spam folder? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you send out information, or you trying to get a hold of a lead or something, and it just falls right into their spam and they've never seen you.
Yeah, great question. Great question. So there are 2 things that I will say on this. The first thing is it sounds, again, it's so 1984 to say this, but there's always somebody, if you don't think that somebody is, like, from a big tech perspective, is reading your email, you're crazy. They are. Maybe not personally, but one of the ways that Google, just as an example, one of the ways that Google is so good at serving ads is that they use really complicated machine learning and artificial intelligence to scan all the email that is sent through Gmail. Okay, so they're not reading it personally, at least I doubt it, but they're reading it on an organizational level. And so through that, they've developed these kind of gates to prevent junk email from coming in. And one of the gates that junk email is being checked with is repetitive email. If you are using the same the same cut and paste email every single time, and you're literally not changing a character, this is something that's going to end up in people's spam. So this is why personalization in your automated communication is so important, right? So you can't just say your email, if you're sending like a market update, you've got to use like the mail merge kind of functionality of your CRM, so that somebody's name is there, so that somebody's city is in the body of the email, so that there is some sort of personalization that your CRM is doing to differentiate that message from the 250 others that you're sending. So that's the first thing. Don't send the same text over and over and over and over. You've got to personalize it. The second thing I'll say is, if you are concerned about things hitting the spam, this is a little time consuming at the front end, but on the back end, it will pay off in spades. Do send one email hand typed to that person, and make it super authentic. Spend time making that first piece of connective tissue. Another one of those gates is, has this person ever received verifiably authentic communication? And so if you're worried that things are hitting the spam filter, take them out of the automated drip, actually type an email to them, go a step further and actually type it on your phone. That is another way to kind of clear one of those spam gates. And then the last thing here is, make sure you're using a reputable email marketing service. If you're using email marketing, if you're sending individual emails and things are ending up in spam, it's going to be harder to remedy that. But if you're using like an email marketing service, MailChimp is pretty good, but they have gotten a little bit of negative press lately as having a little bit higher spam scores. There's a new platform I really like If you're not using an email marketing platform, they're called Flowdesk, Flodesk, Flowdesk. Let me just show you guys. Super attractive. They have really, like, what's the best way to describe it? Really modern templates. You don't have as much like crazy unfettered creative control as you would designing something completely from scratch. But frankly, most of us don't need something designed completely from scratch. In fact, we're using a platform like this, so we don't have to do that, right? So, and look, Kiko, to your point earlier, this is all the things that Flowdesk connects to: Shopify, to Zapier, to Facebook, Instagram, Typeform, WordPress, Google Sheets. The Google Sheets one is really exciting to me. Okay, I use Flowdesk for a business that I'm doing some consulting for, and here's what we do: whenever we get a lead from their real estate website, which is they use Boomtown. Whenever we get a Boomtown lead, it automatically, via a Zapier integration, it automatically gets transferred to Flowdesk, where we started on an email drip. Once it's on that email drip, every time an email is sent or opened or links are clicked, Zapier then talks from Flowdesk back to Boomtown and updates their lead profile with their activity. We also have all this stuff dropped into Google Sheets, where we develop a monthly report that we can all get to. I even, because I'm a huge nerd and I love this sort of thing, I have Slack notifications set up so that I get a little bip 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 every time a certain lead activity happens, so I can be thoughtful throughout the day of the lead volumes that are happening. So Flowdesk is pretty cool, and they're a great example of why integrations aren't important. So something to check out if you're looking for a new platform. They even have a free version, I think, which is kind of cool. But if you're going to get serious on this, get the paid version. You don't want to be stuck in free version forever. Okay, guys.
Chris, on Flowdesk, can you incorporate video? Do you know?
So, okay, so that's a great question. You can do links to video, and you can make it look like there's going to be a video there, but there are very few places where you can have email play natively within the email. I think that there is, I don't know if everybody has access to this, because I talk about Flowdesk on a semi-regular basis. The folks at Flowdesk give me access occasionally to some of their beta testing stuff. And I'm going to get really into the nerd weeds here, so please bear with me. But on Apple devices, there is a type of video called HTML5 that will actually play natively on your phone right from the email window. So you can incorporate, like I'm pretty sure Flowdesk will work with, who is it, BombBomb, if you're doing like video email, but it's not a native integration. They still have to make a click before they can get to that video. But if you're an Apple user, maybe in the next year or so, we'll see email that can play, like if you've got an iPhone, it'll play right in the email window, kind of on an autoplay, or if you use Apple Mail, like on a MacBook Pro or an iMac or wherever you are. Again, I understand the nerd weeds are about around my waist here, so if that's not interesting you, that's fine. But video, this is the long answer to a very short question. You can get video here, but it requires a click. That's what I should have said right on the outset.
So you should just do BombBomb if you think first, if that's.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that's the best answer right now.
Okay.
I'll tell you, my my mission statement on the close is to provide the best answers to real estate questions. And right now, BombBomb and BombBomb-like products are the best answer to 1v1 video communication, like via email. They are still if that's what you want to do,
right,
that's where you should, them or somebody like them, that's still the best answer.
Okay.
I will say though, I'm very bullish on video, as everyone on the internet and in technology will tell you. Video is very important. I think that real estate agents should consider getting into or onto video platforms like Facebook Messenger. Try sending video messages via Facebook Messenger because those sorts of videos you can play right in window. Okay. You can do the same thing. I think you can do the same thing in Instagram DMs. There are not great automation options there. So you're going to have to set up a system that allows you to do a really quick cut and paste to make this a strategy that would scale. But there are emerging these places where that 1v1 video communication can be done more effectively. And I don't think we have to wait a year for it. I think it's here right now, and early adopters are going to figure it out pretty darn soon. Like I'm going to go to the Inman conference in Las Vegas in October, and one of the presenters is from the Facebook division that handles Messenger and WhatsApp. And I just have this sneaking suspicion that we're going to hear some sort of message about that.
Awesome,
So
thank you.
we'll see. We'll see.
Earlier, you mentioned we talked about paid lead gen.
Yeah.
And you did say about non-paid or free lead gen. Besides yourself, any ideas besides what we already talked about?
Mm.
And that really helps the newer agents, right? That don't have.
Yeah, for sure.
Yet.
For sure. I mean, here's a couple of numbers that are important. 30% of a like high performing, and when I say high performing, I mean top 25% of the agents in a market. Of those, that top tier, like that top quartile agent, over 30% of their business comes from referrals, because they've built this sphere of influence of people who have worked with them, who have had success with them, who are sending their friends there. They're buying or selling multiple properties. Over 30% of your transactions come from there. When you are a new agent, it is more like over 80% of the transactions you're getting are coming from people that you already know. Okay. So if you are a new agent, if you've been in the business for less than 36 months, the very first thing I tell people, and this is an old school technique and it still works, guys. The very first thing I tell people is you've got to employ the alphabet strategy of sphere of influence outreach. Grab your phone. Every week you do the A. First week you do the A's, second week you do the B's, third week you do the C's, and so on and so forth. And reach out to the people who already know, like, and trust you. It feels like cold outreach, but it doesn't, because it is. But it doesn't have to be awkward. It can be done over Facebook Messenger. It can be done with a text message. It can be done with a phone call or a coffee date, however, at whatever level you're connecting with these people. This is where real estate businesses start. If you are under the illusion that you're going to build a $1 million GCI business on the back of Zillow Premier Agent as a brand new agent, one, maybe you literally would need $1 million to spend on Zillow Premier Agent to get there. That's the first thing I'll say. And the second thing I'll say is you're missing so many opportunities, because the number of touches it requires to get somebody to activate as a client is cut by 60% if that person already knows, likes, and trusts you. If you're a new agent and you don't have as much experience or a track record to point to, you're going to require 15, 16, 20 touches with somebody. They're going to have to see your ads on Facebook, or see your billboard, or hear your radio ad, or hear your podcast sponsorship, or see a blog that you've written, or get a random email from you. And that's only 6 right there. Okay. So spend time with the people who already know, like, and trust you. That's the best way to build a business when you're new. And if you don't have a big sphere of influence, you got to make one. Okay, that's the last thing I'll say on this. And a lot of people say, like, what do you mean make one? Well, there are, let's see here. What are the organizations I'm a part of? I'm a part of the PTA for my daughter's school. I go there and annoyingly advocate for things like buddy benches on the playground. If you don't know what buddy bench is, go check it out. It's really fun. I'm part of the PTA. I am a part of my local running club, and I'm a part of my local young professionals, which is kind of an oxymoron because I have a giant gray beard. But these are all organizations that I'm a part of that are used to artificially expand my sphere of influence. These are all things that you can use to expand your sphere of influence. And for people who tell me, I'm just not comfortable being so forthright like that, real estate might not be for you then, because this is a belly-to-belly business that requires you to have conversations and build relationships. And if that is something that you can't do, you will have trouble building a sustainable business here. But if it's something you can do, get in there, get your hands dirty. You can do it. Okay, guys, I really have enjoyed this conversation. You guys have had some really great questions. I really appreciate getting questions from folks. Like I said, I'm going to be passing along links to all of the resources that I mentioned. I'll also have a link to the slide deck we used today if you want to go back and refer to that. And I will also make sure Olivia has my email address so that if you have specific follow-up questions to this particular presentation, you can email me directly and I'd be happy to respond, okay? If you have questions about other things in real estate, feel free to visit the close. I have hundreds of pieces of content there. Come check it out there. I'm not the only writer either, and probably not the most talented by any stretch of the imagination. So go check out all of the stuff with thousands of pieces of content across our social networks and the website. So go check us out there. You can also visit me at chrislinsell.com. And if you really like this and you want more of it, make sure to talk to Olivia about booking me again, because frankly, I think you guys are pretty cool and I'd love to come back and talk to you. And who knows, maybe soon enough we can all get together and you can show me around your market, because I love coming to visit people too and doing in-person intensives. So if you think that would be fun, make sure to pass that along. And thanks guys so much. I really appreciate it. I hope everyone got some value here, and I hope we can all go out. You guys, it's still early. Is it still the morning for you guys? You guys have all day to go and win. So go improve your real estate business today. You can do it. Thanks everybody.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Great presentation.